The Edge 840 is Garmin's top-end compact bike computer, and it's grown on me in a good way, not like a fungal infection or weird right-wing views as I've got older. It's featured on the channel already, compared against both its 8 Series predecessor and the larger screen 1040. But I wanted to do a dedicated long-term review, mainly because my Edge 550 vid did very well on YouTube and I want the money, money, money. So here it is, the Edge 840 after 9 months of use. Please to enjoy. Who is the Edge 840 aimed at?
Cyclists, next.
Okay, sure, the Edge 840 is definitely aimed at the enthusiast end of the spectrum, not least due to the ballsack emptying price. And whilst the 840 is easy to set up and use, even for beginners, it does keep throwing out training statistics and guffcronyms more suited to the Lycra Trust semi-fanatic, a category into which I most definitely plop. Talking of which, what does the Edge 840 do? Answer: pretty much everything in the velo computer space. I'm struggling to think of any feature possessed of another bike computer that isn't present on the 840. It does all the ride tracking and recording stuff, navigation, certainly more training features than the Shisley stick knows what to do with. Integrations with third-party apps like Strava, connectations with speed sensors, heart rate straps, indoor trainers, and your favourite Bluetooth sex aid. The 840 will alarm if someone even thinks about moving your bike and tells your parents if it detects you doing a rad power drift out of that death trap roundabout down the road, or if you fall off your bike. The CLIM specific feature, I'm not sure of the general term for these things, is best in class. And you cannot criticise the Edge 840 for lack of features. If you've identified a gap in its feature arsenal, let Garmin know. They're surely out making sacrifices to the velo gods for inspiration on what to stick into the Edge 850. Looks, size, and all that jazz. Now, I wasn't wowed by the looks of the Edge 840 when I debagged it. I'm still not. It's chunky and utilitarian. The additional buttons, more on those in a bit, sully the clean lines enjoyed by its 830 predecessor. It's solidly built though. The plastics seem good quality, at least to this amateur materials scientist, and it's held up well. Presumably I've dropped it the odd time when not on the bike. It rattles around my box or bike computers. Taking all these photos and videos in exotic locales must take its toll, and there's ne'er a scratch on it. In terms of size, it's compact. To be fair, even large bike computers are modest by smartphone standards. Anyway, it occupies only a small amount of stem or handlebar or in front of handlebar space. It's bigger than the Wahoo Element Bolt V2, but there's not much in it. We've got the usual Garmin mount on the back. After all these years, I think we can agree that just works. That said, I've had the odd commenter, should the emphasis be on the odd, say they picked the 1040 with its milled metal cleat type thing because the previous plastic ones had broken off. I've never had that, and the 840 certainly isn't giving off vibes of risk in that department. Weight-wise, we're talking 90 grams. Which is basically nothing. Certainly the difference to competitor computers is small enough to make no difference, so we won't dwell. Screen. I've come to the conclusion I'm quite tolerant, perhaps not that useful as a hard-nosed consumer champion, which I am. The screen on the Edge 840 isn't the brightest and most contrasty, technical term, in the market. I wouldn't describe it as washed out, but it's certainly not got the eye-popping high definition seen on the Element Bolt or the Hammerhead Karoo 2. And because I'm tolerant, I've been alright with that. Partly because I get that it's a trade-off. You can't get spectacular battery life, more on that in a sec, in a small, lightweight device if you're powering a 4K OLED screen on your handlebars. Also, the touchscreen has to work. The Bolt doesn't have this issue, and it needs to stand up to crap weather and the occasional clunk and bump. In use, the display is certainly readable, at least to these eyes, so it works. It's just not as, shall we say, sexy as the Karoo 2. The Edge 840 screen is also reflective rather than the matte displays seen on the Bolt V2 and Karoo 2. On a bright day when I'm in and out of tree cover, I found this can distract from my oh so important to view at all times performance data. I got over it though. What can I say? Tolerant. Battery life. And is solar worth it? Ah, the topic I love to hate. I'm convinced it's boring and it causes viewers to skip to the next crashed supercar resurrection video. But admit talking about it, and that's the only question I get asked. The battery life of the 840 is very good. Perhaps a 500k Audax rider might take an external battery pack, but surely no one would have single ride range anxiety with 26 hours of available on time. I certainly don't. Also, to mention, Garmin says it has up to 60 hours in battery save mode. For someone like me, where a short cycling hollybob comprises 2 or 3 modest length rides, I found it doesn't need a charge all trip. And if it did, the 840 has a USB-C charging port, which is both fast to consume electro juice and becoming ubiquitous as the cable of choice for fit, handsome thrusters, of which I count you, yes you, amongst that number. Like a dedicated dickhead, clearly I bought the solar version, despite the UK not really seeing much solar, even on the best of summer days. As expected, I haven't found it a game changer. Solar recharging can, according to Garmin, add 6 more hours of battery life. I haven't seen that even on sunny rides. But then standard Johnny battery is enough for me, so it's a poot point. Clearly your volume of sun will vary. If you spend half your year in Spain, yes please, you could probably justify it. For everyone else, I'd recommend saving the money. I did not, for I am a meat sleeve. Using the Edge 840. To be clear, the Edge 840 does an excellent job of being a bike computer. Garmin has been doing this stuff a while. The whole ride tracking, data recording and displaying navigation thing, spot on. With each Edge generation, Garmin adds a little bit more. Little by little has become a lot. The challenge is making all these features accessible, intuitive and easy to use. Mo features, mo problems, as my dog says. The 840 revels in the updated Garmin user interface, also seen on the 1040 and 540. More features are displayed as widgets on the home screen, with each offering a quick tap to access that aspect of the bike computer. Generally, the 840 relies less on the menus within nested menus seen in previous models. In terms of physical operation, the 840 is Garmin's first, and so far only, touchscreen device where all finger screen actions can also be done using the physical buttons on the side. You can use the buttons to navigate around the screen, select options, tweak all that needs tweaking. Now, I don't like to boast too much, but I'm quite the fingersmith. I get on with most touchscreens. Well, at least my diddling digits do. But you don't have to be with the 840. The meat space buttons offer a viable alternative for controlling the thing, whether in the wet or because your handy wandies are cosseted in glovey wovies. Finally, on the making it do things ragga tip, the 840 is now fully settings updatable, as no one says, from the Garmin Connect app. For older Edges, only limited device settings could be changed. Now, if you want to while away an evening on the sofa, polishing your data grid display, you can do that from the comfort of your iPhone. Quick interlude for you. Are you enjoying this video? Yes. Do you want to see more? Will you subscribe? So you get the idea. The Edge 840 is an excellent bike computer, but what, for me, elevates it above the other GPS you could buy. What I particularly like about the Garmin Edge 840.
Would the grey-haired gentleman with the verbal diarrhea please stop masticating over the new version of CLIM Pro? Other pool users are complaining.
CLIM Pro has been a favourite feature of mine since the original version hit the prior Edge generation. It speaks directly to my how much is left of this climb, and can I actually get up it? Anxiety complex. The new version seen on the 840 and other 40 devices is even better. The elevation charts feature more granular gradient color coding, which helps my aforementioned bone china mindset, and more importantly looks #more pro. Even better, CLIM Pro on the 840 kicks in whenever you hit any climb. The previous version only worked when following a preloaded route, and generally I found it accurate. The Edge doesn't identify phantom climbs, or worse, not recognise at all the secret Alp that you've clearly started ascending. If you're a dirty sadomasochist, CLIM Pro also helps you find local slopes nearby for you to flagellate yourself up. So CLIM Pro is a big tick in the bunghole for buying the Edge 840. And I really like all the training features. Do I use them all? No. Do I use any of them? Really? Do I know what they all mean? In truth, I know enough of the exercise science behind them to be dangerous. Sort of. The stats are legit, as the kids say. One day I'll use them in anger to work on my fitness. One day. In the meantime, I enjoy my bike computer telling me my training status is productive and my cycling abilities, such as they are, dressed to the aerobic capacity side of the trouser leg. I like that Garmin has gone woke and given all three input methods, touchscreen, physical buttons and phone app, full control over the 840. The initial setup of the device and the subsequent syncing of your data to and from Garmin Connect, Strava and the mountain biking apps like Grinder was and is straightforward and consistently stable and hassle-free. Ultimately, the Edge 840 just works. And it works well. Some reasons for not buying the Edge 840. Here's some quickfire points. I'll try to control my addiction to exposition. 1. You've already got a bike computer. There's no rocket science to this one. The 840 isn't doing anything fundamentally different to older Garmin's or devices from competitors. It won't turn you into a pro rider if your current one hasn't. 2. You really hate touchscreens. The 840 can be controlled entirely without a digit swipe, but you're paying for the privilege. This one is pocket science. Buy the cheaper Edge 540, which is materially identical to the 840, sans screen do touch, or the Wahoo Element Bolt. 3. You like touchscreens, but you want more of them. Or more of this one. Look, you want a larger screen. The 840 is a compact device. It has a compact screen, and navigators could well benefit from greater map estate. Maybe you want to display 12 to 100 data fields. The Edge 1040 or the 1030 Plus are great IMAX alternatives. 4. You really don't need all the bells and chutney whistles. For every bobbing Lycra warrior wanting all the suffer stats from that last sweet spot threshold tickler, there's a rider that just wants to ride. All the features, options and inherent complexity of the 840 could get in the way. There are simpler options. The 2 Wahoo elements spring to mind. And finally, let's call this one number 5 if you want a brighter and more contrasty screen. There are definitely some riders that prefer a simple data screen with large digits and no sunny reflections. If that's you, again, I'd consider either the V2 Bolt or the V2 Roam, or maybe the Hammerhead Karoo 2, although I'd check that the shorter battery life on that one is going to work for you. And boom, we're done. Links to all the devices mentioned are in the description. Check out my other videos. I'm a dickhead in those as well. Peace out.